Hey everybody, welcome back to Living in Charlotte. If you're thinking about moving to Charlotte or any of the surrounding areas, this is the channel for you. If we haven't met before, my name is Jason Rapoli, and along with my wife Kristen, we help people just like you move and relocate to the Charlotte area. Each and every week on this channel, we post new videos keeping you informed of new construction tours, how much it would cost you to move to Charlotte, North Carolina, real estate news, and all things Charlotte related. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this video out to your friends and family who might be thinking about moving to Charlotte or might be moving from within Charlotte to another location, and we can help them make their move a reality. So in today's video, we're going to be going over, should you move to Charlotte, North Carolina? We're going to be going over the Charlotte housing market to see where prices are and if that fits in your budget. We're also going to briefly look over the jobs market. We're going to look at the Fortune 500/1000 companies located in and around Charlotte to see if it matches any of your needs for your job hunt if you decide to move to Charlotte, North Carolina. We're also going to look at a map that my wife Kristen made of Charlotte, North Carolina to see where it is in relation to like the beaches, mountains, South Carolina. So if you do have a commute, you can know about how far the distance is and how long it'll take you to get to Charlotte if you actually work in downtown Charlotte. And lastly, we'll go over some things that you can do in and around Charlotte. And believe me, there's plenty to do. But without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, so if you've seen my videos before, you know I like to start off with, of course, the most important stat if you want to move here, and that is the Charlotte housing market. We're going to see how much it would cost you to live here and how hot the market is right now going into the fall of 2024. And you can see up here in the top left, I get all of my information from Redfin, and you can easily do that as well. So if you want to check this out afterwards and see if they have more up-to-date information, because as of right now that I'm reporting, this information goes up until the end of summer, August 2024. So they're a little behind, but this is still very relevant information. And you can see it says that the Charlotte housing market is somewhat competitive. Homes in Charlotte receive 2 offers on average and sell around 41 days. We have seen that tick up more so going into September and now into October. So I would say that those numbers have increased slightly, especially the days on market. I think it's closer to 45 or 50 days, but regardless, it's going to take you a month or two to sell in the current environment that we're in right now. And you can see the median sale price of a home in Charlotte is $406,000, up 1.5% since last year. And typically in real estate, we do see a 1 to 2% jump every year. I know that was skewed a little bit back in 2020, but the average over the last century or so is about 1 to 2%. When you invest in a house, that's about how much it goes up each and every year. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper in the housing market trends, and we're going to work our way down this list here. So as you can see, we did go over this already. We sales about $406,000, up 1.5%. Year over year, but you can see back in June of 24, it was actually $440,000, and it has been dropping ever since then. But typically we see that in the summer months, they do creep up and then they go down. This is actually a pretty good graph here. You can see that it's been very steady. We have been on the rise recently, and now we're just slightly going back down. And even though home prices are rising, number of homes sold are dropping significantly. You can see that it is down almost 12% year over year. You can go back to 2021. It started dropping then. Of course, in the summer, it actually went back up in 22. Took a big drop going into 2023, slightly recovered for the spring and summer season, dropped right back down almost to the same point. Looks like it's a little bit lower than 2023 going into 2024. However, this pop did not get as high. We did see a slower summer here in Charlotte. So you can see that the prices are still going up, but the number of homes sold are going down. And you can see that with days on market as well. You can see back in June of 2022, it took about 22 days to sell a home, under a month. And then it really did take a big spike up toward the end of the year. It took an average of 55 days at the beginning of the year, because in January, typically that is one of our slower months. It's just after the holidays. People are not really home shopping right then. They're looking more toward the spring, and they can do it so that way they can buy a house and get into it in the summer just after their kids are out of school. And you can see a big dip here again. June, this time it was 32 days. So it's taking about a month. Then you see the spike again and dropping back down. Now this one here isn't as severe. You can see that it only went down to about 35 days on market, was around the lowest, so still over a month. And now we've kind of evened out at around 40 days. But like I said, these were the summer months. June, July, and August. And we have seen that number go up. It's probably right around 45 or 50 days. So it would be right around this mark here. Now we're going to look at how hot and competitive the market is for Charlotte. If you remember back in 2020, 2021, and 2022, Charlotte, along with some other big metro areas, seen a huge spike in real estate buying in that period of time, which increased sales price. But with everything that goes up, it must come down. I'm not calling for a crash or anything, but everything needs to level off. And these numbers, the previous numbers I just showed, along with these numbers, are actually going to show that to you. So you can see on Redfin, it says that it is a somewhat competitive market with a 55 score. The average home sells for about 1% below list price and goes pending in about 44 days. We've already talked about that number, but let's talk about the list price. People are still pricing it a little bit high because I get it. People want to have the most bang for their buck. They think their house is worth a lot more. And in some cases it is. It just depends on when you sell and what area you're selling in, and if you can find the right buyer to match what they want for what you're selling. However, a lot of them are still trying to go too high, and then by the time they lower the price, the market has already moved lower. So it's very important for you to listen to your real estate agent because they look at these numbers daily and they can sell your house quickly as long as you price accordingly. And you can see that in the numbers here. You can see it's 98.9%, down 1.1% year over year. And like I said, here's 2022. People were getting 103, 104% of original list price. People were competing for those homes. And you can see the line dips down, of course. And look at the August of 22, 100%. We're going to keep going here. We're going to check the next summer. The next summer is 100%. By August, it was 100%. So people in this summer were still making their money. Then we drop back down. Let's check out this summer. June of 2024, just below 100%. July of 24, just below 100%. And then, of course, August, we're at 98.9. And I believe that number has dropped even more in September. We're going to check those numbers out when they release them here. But I believe that was more around probably 98.5%, right around the same number. But you can see that the trend is going down. And this goes along with it perfectly too. Homes sold above list price. 70% of homes in April of 2022 sold above their list price. And then this was a sharp drop down. And then it never quite recovered. You were still getting, so of course, some people were getting over list price, especially in the spring and summer. Drops back down, but this one was not as high of a jump. And you can see even in August of 24, it was quite low. August of 23, it was way up here at 36%, and this is at 25%. And the last one here is homes with price drops. You can see that was a 7.4% increase year over year as well, which goes right along with these other two stats as well, that people will have to be dropping their prices because they're starting them just a little bit too high. This next stat here is just kind of fun. It shows a migration information. So it shows where people are moving from when they move to Charlotte and where they're moving to when they actually leave the Charlotte area. And that one's kind of fun because I actually stay kind of close. Let's take a look at that. All right, so you can see that New York is number one on this list. A big reason for that is cost of living. Cost of living in Charlotte has been on the rise the last couple of years, but compared to New York, Washington, Los Angeles, Miami, Atlanta, it is still much more affordable than those locations. So a lot of people like to come here for that. And of course, if you're looking to get out of the snow, I know New York gets a lot of snow. Miami, I've had a lot of people move up from Miami. They thought they would like the Florida weather, but it is just incredibly hot all year round. And Charlotte doesn't get much snow, but you do get all four seasons. You do get a fall, you do get a winter. There is a chance of snow. It usually doesn't stick around too much, but you do get all four seasons here in Charlotte. All right, so now we switched over to moving from Charlotte. So when people are leaving, where are they going to? A lot of people think that Charlotte is close to the beach, but in reality, it's still about a good 3 to 4 hour drive to along any beach that you want to get to. So a lot of people do want to just go to, Myrtle Beach. Asheville is in the mountains. They want to be closer to like the mountain life. Wilmington, North Carolina is also near the beach. Greensboro is more up in the Raleigh area, and that's a big tech area, and it's closer to the beach. So people do choose that one as well. But you can see they do stay relatively close to the area, so they do like living in the southeast part of the country. And now we're going to go over some recently sold homes around Charlotte, and you're going to see this number vary greatly. It just depends on where you're looking. You could be looking at a $250,000 house, or a multi-million-dollar house. It just depends on your financial needs and where you want to live. So you can see this one here. It's a very tiny house. It was sold on October 16th for $258,000. The list price was $263,000, so they did have to come slightly under, but it's only a 2-bed, 2-bath, and under 1,000 square feet. This one here was sold on October 15th for $869,500, listed at $889,000. Once again, 2% under, 68 days, but this one's much larger, 4-bed, 3.5 bath, 3,600 square feet. Here's one that actually went a little bit over list price. This one was sold on October 15th. List price was $800,000 and it went for $815,000. It was only on the market for 23 days, so that's still a little bit longer to get over for $15,000, but they stuck to what they wanted. They must have had a couple people looking into it, and it did bump up the price. 4-bed, 2.5 bath, almost 3,000 square foot for this one here. Schools we don't go over too much on this channel. There's a lot of good resources out there that you can do some research on to see what fits you and your family. Of course, we have the standard public schools. We also have some good charter schools you can choose from and some homeschooling options as well if you want to look into that. So next, I want to touch on the weather. If you're not familiar with Charlotte, North Carolina, we have all 4 seasons. If you are living here and you're here in June, July, and August, especially July and August, you're going to be inside because typically around that time, temperatures are right around 90 degrees every single day. Heat indexes reach over 100, and it is very hot and muggy. It basically feels like when you walk outside, you've just taken a shower. But that doesn't mean you can't get some things done. A lot of people just do their yard work in the morning before it gets really, really hot, or they do it in the evening as things are cooling off. Me, myself, I like to get all my stuff done early in the day. It's a little bit cooler in the morning, so I get all of my yard work done bright and early, but a lot of people do choose to do that in the evening as well. Next, I want to go over hurricanes. Typically, we don't get hit off of our coast too much. That does happen every now and then, but since Charlotte is so far inland, we get a lot of flooding concerns. Depending on where you live, if you live in a flood zone, you could have to prepare for that. We do get severe weather, some heavy rain, lightning, storms, but nothing like the coast would get. We just get the severe weather. We do have storms come up from the Gulf as well. They will hit Florida, Georgia, and come up our way, and those usually give us a lot of rain. Recently, we just had a hurricane come through, and it actually hit the mountains of North Carolina, and this was such a rainy summer that the ground was already really soft and couldn't get rid of its moisture. And when that hurricane came through, it was so massive, and it just dumped rain for long periods of time that it washed out roads. It had mudslides, and our mountain area was hurt badly by that hurricane. But typically that is not the case. It doesn't do that too often because typically we don't have such rainy seasons here in Charlotte. This was just happens to be one of our rainiest seasons, coupled by that hurricane that came up and drenched the mountain area of North Carolina. No matter where you live in the country, you're going to have to be on the lookout for different weather patterns, and different areas will have different risks. But I want to let you know about just the hurricane status because there is a lot of question about that if you live in the Charlotte area. Now we're going to briefly go over jobs and how many Fortune 500 companies and 1,000 companies we have here. And I know recently that there have been a lot of layoffs with companies and it's a little bit harder to find a job. But typically in Charlotte, you will be able to find something, whether you're looking at retail, construction, which is always booming here in Charlotte. So you can see Fortune 500 companies in the Charlotte area. Number 18, the biggest one we have here is Bank of America, and then another bank, Truist. Another 2 big ones is Lowe's and Duke Energy. Honeywell is here. You can see the other ones on this list. And if you scroll down a little bit, these are over the top 500, but still in the top 1,000. So you can see there's a lot of different job opportunities for you if you wanted to work for a corporate company. You have a lot of different options here. And since this is the birthplace of aviation, we have a lot of local airports, and of course we have the CLT airport if that's something you're into. But I do believe that if you're looking for a job, you can find what you need here in Charlotte. We're going to be going over this map here that my wife Kristen made, and you can see that it is in North and South Carolina, and it even stretches down to Savannah, Georgia. These lines here just represent different county lines, so you know where you'll be if you move down here. So as you can see, Charlotte is more on the western side of the state here. Not completely, but you can see that it is quite a ways away from any type of beach location that you were looking for, if that's the reason why you want to move to Charlotte. And then of course the mountains would be just over this way. It's still a good 2 or 3 hour drive to the mountains, depending on where you want to go. Some lower mountains are a little bit closer, but if you want to go to the big mountains, of course, you'd have to head towards Tennessee and that area for those type of mountains. The Raleigh, Durham, Greensboro area is where a lot of colleges are located. We do have some colleges down by us. One of the most famous one is Davidson, that's really close to us, but this has a lot of like where Duke is located, North Carolina, Chapel Hill's right up in here. So if you're looking for the college experience or some tech areas, this might be a better fit for you. And if you're interested in that, we can hook you up with a great agent or some great agents up in that area. And this map is also so great because I was telling you some things that you could actually do in and around Charlotte. She made this map so you can look at it. Carowinds is located right here. You can just click on that. It will give you some information about Carowinds, which is right on the North and South Carolina border. It's our amusement park. It's got fantastic rides. We buy the seasonal pass every year to go there, and it is a blast for anyone that has a family. You can just walk around. I'm not a big rider, but I go with my family and I hang out with them as we just walk around and ride some rides. And you can go down this list. The Billy Graham Library is a fantastic experience. I would definitely recommend that. The NASCAR Hall of Fame is here. Truist Field is our minor league baseball team. Usually it's pretty cheap to get in there. We like to go there every now and then. During the holidays, it's called Light the Nights. They deck the place out in Christmas decorations and lights, and they have vendors there. It is a lot of fun. The Spectrum Center is where we play some basketball games for your Charlotte Hornets. Bank of America Stadium is where the Carolina Panthers play, and not to mention your Major League Soccer team as well if you live down here in Charlotte. And going to see those games is an experience. I would recommend it, even if you're just visiting. It is a huge experience. I was not expecting it when I went to my first game. All right, and that's all I got for you in today's video. I hope I provided some valuable information if you're thinking about moving to the Charlotte area, or if you know someone that is thinking about moving to the Charlotte area, please share this video with them and our channel so they can get more information and know if this is a good fit for them and their family. All right, and if you're interested in this map, go ahead and reach out in the comments down below or send us a direct message and email, however you feel comfortable, and we can share this map with you so that way you can look at the events, the locations, the different things around the area to see if it fits you and your family. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any updates of what's going on in and around Charlotte, North Carolina. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.